Welcome. Today we're going to take a look at how we can do some problem solving using aggregate functions in Oracle SQL using SQL Developer. So let's take a look at the first one right here. We have a write a select statement that shows the student IDs and the number of courses each student is enrolled in. And you only show those students that are enrolled in more than 2 classes. So we're going to start off with the stub for the problem. So again, the first thing we're looking at is like, we have the idea enrolled. So that tells us, I should be looking at the enrollment table. So I have that as my stub right here. And then student IDs, I already have that right there. So I'm going to go ahead and run that stub first to see what kind of information we first have as we do this. As you can see, I've got student IDs in here, and I've got 226 rows of information. Definitely more than I actually want for that, but we can see, I've got to start for this actual solution. So we've got that ready to go. So now we actually take a look and find out a bit more of a base for this. How can we try, do some solving on that? So we're going to go ahead and try and find the information for that. So let's go ahead and change our select clause. And we're going to do the count as enrolled count. Remember that whenever we're working with a function call or anything that exposes more than simply the field name of a column, we always want to use the as clause to alias the results to do both for security, ease of use, and just generally just to make it so it's a better piece of code. So we have select student ID and then count as enrolled count, and then we'll do that also from enrollment. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that right there. And if I just end that with a semicolon right here, just like we had earlier, so I just add that right there, and I run this query and hit play. Oh no, I have not a single group function. Oh crap, that's right. Whenever I'm working with an aggregate function, I always need to make sure that everything inside my select clause that doesn't have a aggregate function on it needs to be listed explicitly in that group by clause, like we see over here in my stub right there. So I'm going to go over here and add that to my group by clause. So add a group by. And I'm going to put student ID in here, and I'll rerun that same query, getting rid of that error message. And boom, now I've got 165 rows selected. You can see that I have my enrolled count. 273 is in there 1 time, 277 is in there 2 times. Great. Now we have a stub. We went from a stub where we had just all the student IDs, then we went to including the count on that. So we got the beginning of our problem, and now we need to go and finish off our solution right here by working with finding only those who are enrolled in more than 2 classes. So to do that, I'm going to take that same exact query right here. I'm going to go to my answer mode right here. And in my answer, we're going to start off with the same thing. We have our select clause. As you can see, my student ID and my count as enrolled count, that same part right there. My from clause doesn't change either because, again, I'm just working with enrollment. My group by is going to stay the same on that. But because I'm limiting my results to based off of the result of an aggregate function, I'm going to use my having clause. In my having clause right now, I have having count greater than 2. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab that whole query right here, including the answer comment, and put that inside this. Again, I like to have my comments always right there so I can explicitly say what I'm doing. So I have my same select clause, my student ID, and my count as enrolled count. I'm going to go ahead and select this query so I can run it. We're down to 7 rows selected this time. And so I can see here's my student ID and my enrolled count. I have 4, 3, 4, 4, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. So I've got that, definitely I have that solution. And I can even make this better by adding an order by clause to that. And so I can have it so it's ordered by my enrolled count. So I'll go ahead and do that right now. So add that order by. And I'm going to do the enrolled count. Because I have the count as enrolled count, I can reference that as the name right here, the alias, because again, my order by happens after my select clause, so it's totally okay to sort that based off of the result of that. And I run that again, get a little bit better, and now I have 4, 4, 4, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, all the way down. So I've got that taken care of, and I have a much better solution to that. So that's the way I can actually do problem solving. So I'm able to solve my original problem to write a select clause that shows the student IDs and the number of courses that each student is enrolled in. And I only want to show those enrolled in more than 2 classes. So I'm able to make that happen by taking that, going from a stub to a base of a question, and then actually doing the solution. Let's do this one more time with another question. Okay, so for this question, we're going to write a select statement that displays the average room capacity for each course. Display that average expressed to the nearest whole number in another column. Use a column alias for each column selected. Okay, so we've got that right there. So we've got our lovely thing. So let's do our stub. So again, in our stub, I have a select clause with here of capacity from course. So I'll grab that stub, grab that in and paste it in to my Oracle. And my select stub and select capacity from course. Oh no, capacity is invalid identifier. Oh, well, the room capacity for each course, but the course itself doesn't have that information. So I need to make sure I go and take a look at my actual ER diagram or my database specs to actually have that happen. And so it's not the course table I'm working with. I need to look at the section table. And that's where that information is going to happen. So I have that right there. And boom, now I have 78 rows selected with all the capacities. So I've got that information right there. So I actually know what I'm looking at now. So now I'll go to my base clause. And again, have that capacity as real capacity. And from section, note the change in table. So I'm going to grab that comment right there as well. And so I've got that, and we'll go down here and paste that in. So we change the table. And again, I'm aliasing this as real capacity because I'm explaining what I'm actually working with that. And so I'm going to run that same query right here. It does the same event that we just did, but now it has real capacity as an alias name for that. So I've got my capacity for that. Now I'm going to go ahead and do my answer. So I need to get the average of that. So that's where I'm going to use that lovely function. And so in there I have my course number, my average of capacity as average capacity, my rounded of average capacity, because I'm nesting that function in there as the whole average. And again, that's going to be set right there on the from section. And so when I run this right here, and this is going to give me an error message at first because I don't have my group by. So if I rerun that statement again, I don't have a group by, it'll crash, burn, and die here. Oh my gosh, same thing. So again, I'm going to go over here, I'm going to use my group by, and that way I actually have the course number on there as well, so I can have that information specified for that. I rerun my query one more time, and now I have my course number, my average capacity, and my whole average. And you can see that the rounding takes effect. My 12.5 becomes 13. My 21.6666667 becomes 22. And so we're able to take that problem and solve it and work and do better by making it that we can actually have that information, have it saved and available for us, and we can actually understand how to do problem solving, again, by taking it and looking at the, identifying the words, taking a stub, figuring out the base of that query we actually need to write, fixing the correction of our table we're working with, and then going ahead and then going from there and actually working on solving that problem. Again, when we're working with this, look at the words you're using so you can actually solve those problems. I hope this is a helpful way to review using aggregate functions. Cheers, we'll see you next time, and have a good day. Bye-bye.